So it's a story of a zigzag. Nothing to declare. Just a brief introduction of Nepal. It's a landlocked small country between China and India, two big nations. And it has 8 of the 10 tallest mountains in Nepal, including in the world, including Mount Everest. It's the birthplace of Buddha. And Kathmandu is the nation's capital, and the population approximated at 30 million. There are 77 districts, of which Dolpa is the largest district, and this is where I work. I'm here for the last two years or more. Large in terms of area, but population-wise, the entire district has only 35,000 people. The entire district has only 35,000 people. If you are amazed why, I'll tell you. It's the entire district is a mountainous district, lot of treacherous terrains, and very inaccessible. The entire district is not as yet touched by any vehicular access, no vehicular roads. So the only mode of transportation is either by air or by foot. From the nearest place of the vehicular access, it takes 3 days by foot. And there's the small planes that come to Dolpa every morning, if the weather is clear, of course, 2 or 3 planes. And every time to get a air ticket to go or return from this place is like a big fight of power, position, and personal contact. So it's a hard job acquiring air tickets. It is really rural. I want to ask, how rural is your rural? We had a friend from Hong Kong, he's left. I got to listen to his whole presentation, and now he's left. Mr. Chairman, not fair. How rural is your rural? Right? I tell patients who come to OPDs in the outpatient clinics, often they come walking for 3 days or 4 days. OPD patients. So if the patients from those places get acutely ill, seriously ill, and they have to come to the emergencies, people have to, carry them. And so it takes a whole lot of time, maybe double. So you can imagine the scenario when they land up in the hospital in the emergency department. They are literally with a lot of complications, often difficult to save. If they do come, sometimes they don't even try to reach the hospitals. So it's that remote. And hence, because it is remote, we have a poor hospital setup, lack of properly enabling structures, and very poor supply of essential drugs. I work in the district hospital. That's the main hospital of the entire district. It's a 15-bedded government hospital. We at times have medical officers who work beside me, and few paramedical mid-level, certificate-level staffs. We have basic tests done in the labs, a OT table, lamp and a monitor, no oxygen supplies, and we run emergency room, emergency department, OPD, ANCs, and Indo and labor. So this is how patients are brought to our emergency. A friend from Hong Kong was telling me that they get patients transferred to the emergency room ambulance. We're talking about a district hospital, and this is our emergency. Just to discuss a little bit more about how we have been working in these places, I'll bring 2 or 3 cases. Just a brief discussion. The first case, this was an adult man who sustained a heavy blunt trauma to his left hip by a wooden log that fell from the mountains, and he was brought to the emergency. Of course, he had posterior dislocation of his left hip joint. So under ideal circumstances, if we have to salvage the limb and protect him from the acute complications, as you can see, the ideal treatment is always to reduce the dislocated hip joint under intravenous anesthesia. Right? Because this case is a case of orthopedic emergency. Next case, I had a lady. She was at 41 weeks of pregnancy, was admitted in the labor room, but the labor was not progressing. So she had a prolonged stage of labor. We were expecting that anyhow she would deliver normally, but later we could feel a huge caput, and just to make it worse, the baby was showing signs of instability, and we could see the meconium. So the fetus was in distress. In this condition, if we do not treat the patient, if we do not operate for cesarean sections in an emergency basis, both the mother and the child could lose their lives. So these are the two cases. Now my story is, I was the only doctor in the hospital. We never have any assistants who were trained, who could sit opposite to me as a first assistant. We have nobody. We have no scrub nurses. We have no circulating nurses. No anesthetist. Forget anesthetist. We don't have even anesthesia assistants. We have no blood bank. We have no oxygen. If we have to operate like for complications, we have no general anesthesia and the machine thing. No adequate surgical instruments, and like I told you, we didn't have even adrenaline, emergency drop. And besides, I was the only doctor working 24/7, so obviously I was in a lot of physical and mental stress. Can you put yourself in that situation? What would you do? I had to do what I had to do. I managed both the cases, did the anesthesia myself in both the cases, reduced the dislocated hip and kept in an extreme traction in the wall for 2 weeks. Now he's doing fine. He can walk like a normal guy. The other lady, it was a whole lot of risk. I had to do a lot of counseling to the parents, to her husband, to herself also. And this was the first case ever in the history of Dolpa that underwent major surgery. And see, I performed an emergency LSCS under subarachnoid block. I had to transfuse 2 pints of fresh blood because eventually she developed PPH because she was already in a prolonged stage of labor and uterine atony was the cause. Delivered a healthy child of 3,500 grams, 7 by 10, 8 by 10 copper. So they are both doing fine. In another case also, it was a month later maybe, I was on a holiday and I was supposed to fly back to my home in the capital, Kathmandu. In the airport, people were fighting for tickets. I had my ticket. There's a small boy whose parents were fighting for tickets, and he was supposedly, we could see, apparently had a fractured forearm. I went to him and see that it was hugely swollen. The child wouldn't let touch his hand. I tried the extension thing, passive extension, and a lot of pain. And huge swelling, of course, and he was in a lot of pain. So I suspected it was already a compartment syndrome because of the tight bandage the locals had put in. And I know the complications as well. If not managed in time, he could lose his limb. If not his life, due to AKI or sepsis. It was kind of like catch-22 situation. So yeah, I gave him my air tickets. See, what I'm trying to make the point is, we the GPs, we are known traditionally for treating common health issues, right? We are known as primary care physicians, we manage common diseases, we do the screening and prevention thing, we do the referral systems, comprehensive health service, integrated health service, a lot of things. These are all traditional. From my understanding of what a GP is, from where I work, and what my experience tells me, these things do not suffice. We have been doing a lot more, haven't we? From looking from head to toes, to giving everything, blood, sweat, sleep, and even air tickets. Right? Multidisciplinary roles. Doing those operations, I cannot explain how hard the time it was. I had to gather all the surgical instruments myself, check each of them personally, collect the drapes, fold them in a systematic manner, do the autoclave. Even in the OTs, the patient was lying, I had to myself do the anesthesia, run for the re-scrubbing. In the meanwhile, the baby would sit down and I would shout to the health assistants who was assigned there, come on, give the milk, give the milk. And again, after quickly scrubbing, I had to run, do the dripping, venting, and then start surgery. Keep an eye all around through the monitor, vitals. After the baby is delivered, is the baby okay? Everything. She developed PPS like I told you. So we're doing multidisciplinary tasks as a clinician. At the same time, simultaneously, right? We're doing the anesthesia thing, we're doing the surgical thing, the pediatricians, everything, even the nursing workers. So I think we should also be thinking about what in this way GPs they have been doing a multidisciplinary roles. This is not integrated health service, neither comprehensive. This is a different thing we should be talking about. That's my understanding. A lot of communication, counseling, and not just the patients. We are making an impact on the entire society. Now, the people in Dolpa, they have a different understanding about the hospital. Prior to this, it was like, if someone is serious, they could afford, they would fly to the cities. If not, hands up. Now, people are coming to the hospitals every day. When I first went there, we used to have only, believe me, 4 to 6, maybe maximum 10 patients in the outpatient department every day. Now we have more than 70 every day. So this is a big social impact we are making. We're not just sitting opposite to a patient in a fancy OPD room, almost there, and taking the histories and doing the clinical examinations. So we're making a big impact on the society also. We're showing our commitments out of the box, of course. All this at a huge risk, both personal and professional. On the flip side, if the patient, died, I'll be in a whole lot of stress. So, in places like in remote parts of Nepal, we are soaking up so much sun just to keep ourselves fully charged all the time. That's how we're working. A little thing, I must go related, sorry. The WONCA and WHO, like I said, the traditional definitions of the GP does not suffice to me, at least. So we must do more and more work. And Mr. Chairman, I attended a plenary session, maybe on the 18th year, and our president, ex-president, Professor Amanda, was telling us, do the patients feel they have home for primary care? In Dolpa, of course, they have a home, not just home, for some it's a temple also. I recall a woman, the mother of the lady, upon whom I performed a cesarean section. She's been telling me, every time she meets, doctor, now you are our God and the hospital is our temple. So, of course, it's a home for primary care, but temple for some. And the second plenary session was Dr. Smith, I guess from Canada, was telling practicing medicine is a moral action, and thus it becomes our moral obligation to be as excellent as possible. I say, as a clinician, as a practitioner of medicine, it is our job to be as excellent as possible. But let's practice humility as well. And I hope our chairman will deliver this message to Professor Amanda Howe and Dr. Steve. Thank you so much.
This session, we just have 2 minutes left. So if there is any questions, just ask Dr. Samal personally after this session. And the last presentation is